As the country passed the 500 homicide threshold, Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley says he has been meeting with officials of the police force for insight into the high level of violence and murder in the country and potential solutions to the pernicious problem.
Before I left Tobago, I called up my staff and I arranged to meet with all the people, men and women, all the leaders in the various divisions of the police service, to meet them yesterday. I made that arrangement last week. A National Security Council meeting first took place all of yesterday morning from 10 o'clock until after 12, and then all afternoon until 7 o'clock, I met with the people who are responsible for enforcing the law in this country and for protecting us from the criminal element. And the reason why I scheduled that meeting is because I knew that when that time would have come, and we as a people would have had to face the fact, and I knew that that particular fact would have been highlighted, that we in our society of 1.4 million people have experienced in the last 10 months 500 murders. I knew it would weigh heavy on the shoulder and the minds of those people whose job it is to have prevented us and who have done their best according to them. But the circumstances are such that the reality is that this year 500 people, I think the figure is now what, 509 people have been murdered.
Speaking last Tuesday at a People's National Movement public meeting, Rowley noted that having murderer as a job title has become somewhat normalized in Trinidadian society.
Those 500 people are not suicides, you know. They were killed by other people. The killers are called murderers. They are out there. They are out there in families. They are out there among friends. They are in spaces that every one of us use and share. Who are these people? Who is protecting them? Who is defending them? Who is nurturing them? And worse, it may not be 500 murderers, each one killing one person, you know. Some of those are killing many people. That's why they call it a walk. You choose to go out and mix cement. You choose to go and teach school. There are people in our society who choose to kill people as a walk.
The Prime Minister disclosed that the government had already installed 2,500 CCTV cameras in public spaces around the country at a cost of 80 million Trinidad and Tobago dollars, or around 11.7 million US. He also announced plans to incentivize private businesses and homeowners to install surveillance in and around their properties.
One of the things that the police told me yesterday when I asked them, what can the government do additionally to help you with what you have to do as police officers? A number of the divisional heads point to the fact that the use of cameras in the society would greatly help in identifying those who have chosen crime and criminality as a way of life. We were able to tell them, well, we are on that track because the government has just spent $80 million to provide 2,500 cameras at various locations across this country, and they are being installed as I speak to you now. And the intention is to buy another 2,500. That means there'll be 5,000 public cameras and public spaces and select places in this country which are operated and owned by the government of Trinidad and Tobago. But we're going further than that. We are saying, I've had discussions before with the Minister of Finance, and he will operationalize it, where we are going to make not only tax-free, But for the next 12 months, from whenever the Minister of Finance does it for a 12-month period, we will give a tax uplift, a tax break. So if you spend $100, we'll make it $100 plus as a tax break for the corporate sector and for individual homes or individuals to put cameras in and around your households in this country.
Rowley hopes the installation of these cameras will allow authorities to trace the steps of criminals back to their homes and gang headquarters, which would facilitate their capture and subsequent prosecution. At the time Rowley was speaking on November 1st, the murder toll had reached 509. However, as of this past Sunday, that number had climbed to 521 following yet another bloody week. On Saturday afternoon, Nigel Lovelace's wife went outside her home after hearing loud explosions to find the lifeless body of her husband lying on the roadside. Meanwhile, 32-year-old Akil Joseph succumbed on Saturday to gunshot injuries he received after being shot on Friday night. He was being treated at the Sangre Grande hospital. Children are also being killed in the country's spate of murders. A 9-year-old boy was killed in a drive-by shooting on October 15th, while a 3-year-old boy was one of 4 people killed in a shooting on October 23rd. Last Saturday, a 13-year-old girl was shot when the group of people she was with was targeted for attack, while a 7-month-old baby was saved from death by her parents, who shielded the infant with their bodies as they were both shot and killed in their bed at home.